Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is a update for HBAR. Real quickly, I got stopped out on this one at pretty much break even. As you know, I raised my stop up. If you watched this video up to this level here, got stopped out there. But I wanted to show you how this correction could get bigger from here without making a new low. The only way to really get this is if you're watching down on the 5 and 15 minute levels, and you need pretty much an exact pattern for it to play out and be successful. I want to show you that on BitGet exchange. It looks better. Here I'm down at the 15 minute, as you can see. So look at the bottom left corner here. This is the waves on Binance. Look at them on BitGet. You can see you get a little bit better separation. I mentioned in this area that we didn't double bottom on BitGet. We actually made a higher high. Waves just look a little bit better. But first of all, I wanted to compare you here to see how this can become a larger A, even with a huge sell-off like this. And that's with Bitcoin. This is how we can end up getting very complex patterns to the upside. So if you look at this area on Bitcoin, bottom right, and top left here on HBAR on BitGet, you can see it's a very similar three-wave pattern. Looks like an ABC as well as perhaps a WXY here, but very similar three-wave pattern. Slightly different correction in the middle, but you can see the shape of it is pretty much the same. After that top, we had a huge sell-off that looks like an impulse, but clearly not an impulse. We then reversed to the upside. So if you look at BitGet here, remember, this is just potential. I'm just showing you how this can happen because it's very important to start to recognize things yourself in the market. So this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 waves down. It looks like that, but it can also be, there's 5 waves there, an A flat, B, and a C wave down. So you can see why I don't choose to lay into any count, just because it can be multiple things multiple times. Like I said, this could be a 3, 4, 5. That could be 5 waves. Absolutely. I agree with you. That can be 5 waves if someone were to show me that. Or this could be an A, B with a flat, C. You can see pretty much look similar, but can be counted multiple ways. Now, if we then on Bitcoin, you can see we had a rejection, like a V cut, and we're getting something similar there on HBAR, right? And what I'm waiting to see if we get is the next move up here. We'd expect the next move up, break this level, and then come up in a sideways correction or a flat, similar to here. We got a flat. So what that would look like is once we get that, this is the area I'd be interested in the long. And I'd put the stop at either this low or this low to go long. And I'm actually going to be watching this all day, so if there's an update I can let you know if I get in. But all that would do, if you zoom out on Bitcoin again, is make a larger A wave. This would be a WXY for an A or a double zigzag. Again, it can be counted multiple ways here. So on HBAR, all that would do, hang on, I'll label it on Binance since that's the chart I'm using for most of the videos. All that would do is make a larger A wave up to probably between the 1.236 and 1.382 correction back for our B wave, and then we get our C wave up like so. Originally I had it over this as the A wave, can just get extended up like so. And I'll show you that again on Bitcoin. If you compare the top left with the bottom right, we'd get that move up, then get a correction down for our B wave around the 50 like so. And then we'd look for our move up right here, and that's from here. So that's how we can move correctively to the upside on Bitcoin. And come up to that 50 to the 618 area I was showing you. And that ends up just being a flat pattern. We're just getting a bigger 3 waves up. It's almost to the T exactly how Bitcoin ran out, even to the just to compare here so you see. So you can see how it can pan out here. But what I'm going to do on this, because this can easily just collapse, again, we can be looking for that where we had a W wave here or an A, and we just get an extended 3 wave X wave as a flat, and we come down in 3 or 5 down here before getting more upside. And you can see that in red, which I labeled here. So we're at a moment where a lot of things can happen. But because if I get that pattern I mentioned out to you, the 3 wave and then a sideways correction, and it has to be very exact. Like you can't just, if you want to be successful at this trade, you can't just enter here and hope for the best. What I want to see specifically is a move up like so, break this previous resistance, and then make either a running flat or a sideways consolidation, because then I can put in more assumption that we're getting higher upside. Because if this is just an ABC, I'd expect something like this, pretty low correction, come up and consolidate this way. There's a big difference between this and consolidating sideways, right? So this is why I put so much emphasis on shapes. And if we just get the sideways correction and we're up at the 50 and the 618 resistance area, then I can start to consider the fact that this could be an A wave or a wave 1 to the downside. But not until I get that pattern clarification, because then I can short this 5 waves down, right, down to this area before flipping long again. I wanted to show you that in real time. Again, if you compare the patterns, bottom right, top left, you can see how it plays out, and it gives us a little more time in the correction, and it does appear to be quite valid. Right now we'd be in this area, working on this area where HBAR is right now. All right, guys, so I'm going to be watching this one very closely today, because I would like to get that long if that flat pattern plays out. And the reason for that is once we get a 3 wave move up and that consolidation, I can get a pretty nice, I don't know why this isn't showing up there on my 15-minute, probably visibility There we go. So the reason why I don't want to miss this, if we get it, is my entry would be somewhere here, just because I can get so much more position sizing. As you can see, I can get about a 5-to-1 risk reward. So this has to play out. I have to win 1 out of every 5 to break even, right, on this setup, because it's 5-to-1 risk reward. I hope that makes sense. So I think it happens more than 20% of the time. But I just need to see that pattern first, because then that even makes it more likely. So sorry to drag on here, but just really wanted to show you guys. So looking for this to make an ABC up and a sideways consolidation down on the micro 5-minute, 15-minute areas, and then I'll look to long. If I don't see that, and we just drop down here, come back up, then I would consider looking for a short. Completely different pattern, right? All right, guys, that is HBAR. Currently sideline stopped out at pretty much break even. If you watched the previous video, looking to long or short. And so pretty much neutral right now. Want to see which pattern plays out. But if we do just drop here, looking for entries long at around the 618 here. And I believe I have that on my HBAR one. I have more Fibonacci levels. Yeah, around the 618, between the 618 and the 786 to the upside, where this would just be completing our Y wave or B wave before the upside. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on HBAR. I hope this was educational, and you can watch yourself on the chart what to look for to give you higher probability entries. And we'll see what we get here. I hope we get that upside now, similar to the Bitcoin path. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.